Hello everybody, welcome back to Newcastle Fans TV. It's the late show here at St James's Park as 2 goals from Darwin Núñez has given Liverpool a 2-1 win over Newcastle United. This is The Last Word. Yeah, welcome back to Newcastle Fans TV. Just to let you know before we start this video for The Last Word, Green King, proud sponsor of Newcastle Fans TV. Every televised game that you'll see on Sky Sports or TNT Sports or Amazon will be at every Green King pub. There are 900 Green King pubs around the country, so make sure you go to your nearest Green King pub to watch Newcastle United, hopefully, for a win next time.
And after that performance, you might need a drink, a hard one, a double, a treble after that. So make sure you go to Green King, get yourself a treble, tell them 40 sent ya, and just drink your sorrows away. Anyway, back to it. Sorry, I had to get out.
Yeah, I feel he's going to kick off on this video, isn't he?
Possibly. Save it for a second. We're outside St James's Park, outside the Sir Bobby Robson statue, and it's not been a good day for Newcastle United. It couldn't have got any better in terms of the first half, but late Liverpool goals. Sick of saying that. Before we start off in terms of team news, Lee, I want you to mention there was some ticketing issues. I've not heard of it, but you've heard stuff. And were you in this ticketing scenario where it's not gone well?
Yeah, normally I like to be early, as you know, but I was up the women's match, so left the women's match about 85 minutes, so congratulations to them. Got here about 4:15. Everywhere, every turnstile was heaving. You see the clips in front of you. It's an issue now, I feel, for not just the club. I think it's a safety issue as well.
The club did say come here early.
I know, but
there's an alert on your phone.
I know, but it's like, what's stopping the people getting in? Like last week, the last home game, people are waiting 40 minutes to get in. That's too long. I know it's teething issues in the whole ticketing system. You've got the issue with away stuff as well, but not a great experience for me because I was worried that I was going to miss the game. And
Did you miss any of the game?
No, I got in literally as the players were walking out, thankfully, but not a great experience. But I think the club need to look at that in years because it's needs better stewarding for me. And that's you look behind you, you've got a crowd of people. It just takes one person to do that. Yeah. Then you're going flying down the stairs. It's a safety issue for me that needs looked at.
Yeah, let's talk about the team news before we start things off. 40. It's the same 11. It has been the same 11 for the last couple of games since the Premier League start. Any issues with that? I didn't have any issues when I told you about the team. No
issues with the starting lineup. It's just more the game management, which we'll obviously get into in a bit. But starting off, I know we're coming off the back of a loss against obviously the champions, but yeah, everyone decided deserved to be in the team. I can see, but I think that might change going into the next game because a couple of performances weren't up to scratch. I'm sorry, but this is what the level we're at now.
In terms of the Liverpool side of things, Konate was doubtful, and it was even reported yesterday he definitely wasn't going to play, and he didn't. Joel Matip got the nod, and Endo made his first Liverpool appearance in terms of starting. Did come on against Bournemouth last week. He came in as well.
It was awful, by the way. I think Klopp chucking him off. Was it Endo?
Yeah, it was awful, yeah.
I thought he was awful today. We were running the midfield until both subs, which will come on later.
Yeah, we'll definitely come on to that later. In terms of the start for Newcastle and Liverpool, Liverpool had a couple of corners early on, but the big talking point, Trent Alexander-Arnold, we'll mention him a couple of times in this first half, in particular 40. He gets a booking for kicking the ball away.
Yeah.
And that can happen, and obviously Liverpool weren't very happy at that. But he does, and Pete Gray, Sky Sports, he's busy at the minute. Transfer deadline day's approaching, he's probably getting ready for that.
Yeah.
But the big talking point, 40, is the second challenge.
Yeah.
Every day of the week and twice on a Sunday, that's a yellow card, so why has he not been sent off?
Oh, ref had a stinker today. I mean, obviously, he still sent off Virgil van Dijk, which we'll get to, but he had a stinker today. He missed so many yellows for...
Was that a yellow for Trent Alexander-Arnold?
Yeah, of course it was. Of course. I don't know if Liverpool brought down their own referee with them to the game as well. I didn't know if he was part of the matchday squad, but he just had a stinker today. I'm sorry, but I've got to call a spade a spade. I'm not bitter because we lost. Obviously, we got beaten by the better side, but again, the referee didn't help himself at all.
Lee, any complaints?
Just on that, and I'm not sticking up for the referee because he had a howler. If that happens over the spread of the game, you get sent off. Because it was so early, you got a yellow, and then you should have had another one.
Did he bottle it?
Aye, because he should have gone, it would have been 5-10 minutes in. If he does that 35 minutes in, gets sent off.
For my opinion, look, Liverpool fans will debate the first yellow card more than the second yellow card, but that second foul that he makes, Trent Alexander-Arnold, is a yellow card every day of the week. You can debate the first one, but the second one's a stone wall for me. Liverpool should have been down to 10 men after 7 minutes, not 37 minutes, whenever it was when Van Dijk got sent off. But look, I thought Newcastle grew into the game from that moment on forward. It was kind of, I wouldn't say we were banging on the door. I think we kind of, I think it was two very even teams, if I'm being honest. I don't think Newcastle or Liverpool were really taking full control. Both had nice spells of possession, but Newcastle get the goal from Anthony Gordon, who was absolutely fantastic. We'll discuss him in a little bit more detail in a second. But Salah's pass to Trent Alexander-Arnold, who controls it, and Gordon's through. You're not catching him. It's just whether you can put it in the back of the net against, and some would argue, the best goalkeeper in the world at the minute. Big moment for Anthony Gordon, wasn't it?
Yeah, of course. Gordon or Gordinho, as I want to call him, like he had probably the best game that I've seen in a black or white shirt. He showed that form of the summer, playing for England, and it still baffles me to now, like an hour after kickoff, or after the full-time whistle, should I say, that Gordon got subbed off. It still baffles me because he had such a fantastic game. He ran Trent Alexander ragged the whole time that he was on the pitch. And for me, why would you take him off? He's on form. He's playing him. I want to defend Eddie Howe on this one because, we all love him at the end of the day. But he's had a bit of a mare today.
He couldn't have done any more today.
Who? Gordon. Yeah, for sure. Like he did what he needs to do and some. Like, why not take off Miguel Almirón? And I know people say, yeah, he hit the post 40 and he went close. Alisson pulled off a fantastic save and all the rest of it. But if you're comparing the two and you desperately want to make a change on one wing, like you don't take off Gordon. If he's on the form of his life, he scored a goal, he's on form, don't leave him on. It's baffling to me. Sorry.
No, I can understand your frustration. I think a lot of Newcastle fans are certainly frustrated, especially towards the end of the game, which we'll mention. Anthony Gordon obviously gets his first goal, and it was a fantastic boost. I even saw Amanda Staveley bouncing up and down. She was absolutely delighted. She would have been more delighted when Virgil van Dijk got sent off, and that was a big moment. For me, I've seen it again. Liverpool fans will say he's got the ball, but he's got the man before he's got the ball, and he is the last man. In that decision, you can give the referee credit because it is a red card. I can understand Liverpool fans complaining a little bit, but for me, it's a stonewall red card. Isak's the wrong side.
It's the laws of the game. I just said to you off camera, if that's 2 or 3 yards ahead, it's not a red card. It's a penalty instead, and it's a yellow card because the rules got changed. But it all happened very quick. He spun him, didn't he? And then if you stop a goal-scoring chance and it's a deliberate foul, that's where the referee has to look at it. If he thinks it's deliberate, then he sends him off. But it makes life easier because it's outside the box, doesn't it? Because this last man, he's got more power to do it. But yeah, the referee got that one right. But really, there should have been 9 men. But we're not getting into that now. We've passed that now. But at that stage there, he couldn't have asked for anything better. What was it? 25 minutes in or something?
Half an hour in.
Half an hour. You're 1-0 up against a team that is going to be up there against you at the end of the season. 10 man. It's St James's Park, which everybody hates coming to. You can't ask for anything else better.
You certainly can't, and I'll continue with you, Lee. Newcastle did have chances. Obviously, Cher's free kick was blocked, but Miguel Almirón had a fantastic shot, which was unbelievably well saved by Alisson Becker, and that was a big moment as well, I think. And this is what a lot of people will be talking about as they're leaving St James's Park today. We didn't kill Liverpool off when we had the chances to do so. Gordon was a menace. Miggy's had obviously a couple of strikes and goal as well. We've had moments, and against teams like Liverpool, Manchester City, Manchester United, Arsenal, those sort of teams, you need to be killing teams off by getting goals and making it 2 or 3-0, and we allow Liverpool to get back in it.
Yeah, if you didn't get that second goal, you're asking for it. It's the same as us. If we're doing to 10 men, you just hope that you stay in the game. It was a bit like last week when we're just hoping to stay in the game as long as possible because you might get a chance. And obviously, it's going into that second half. It's the substitutions from both sides. It's positive and it's negative from both sides as well. I think Newcastle have not just give away 1 point; they've blew all 3 today.
Mm-hmm. Certainly have. Look, second half, Newcastle were fine. If anything, they started better. And Anthony Gordon, if obviously Sandro Tonali has a lovely cross come in, and if Trent Alexander-Arnold doesn't get there, who arguably shouldn't even be on the pitch, and Gordon's got a tap in, and look, Newcastle had chances. Miggy hit the post, but Jurgen Klopp made some decisive substitutions for Eddie, and he brought on the likes of Darwin Núñez, who we'll talk about in a second, Diogo Jota. He went for it, and you've got to say he went for it. He took off Mata, brought a young centre half on, took off McAllister. You know, in terms of the players that he brought on, he's like, well, I'll go for it. If we get beat, we're expected to get beat now.
Yeah.
But he went for any you know, he played his deck.
Sorry to cut you, but that's the difference in quality. Like, Eddie Howe's a top quality English manager, but he's just not there yet. We've played two of the best managers in this league, probably in world football right now, in terms of Pep last week and Klopp this week. And Klopp has just showed him the reasons why he's a top quality manager in this week.
What should Howe have done differently? Should he have brought a sub on beforehand, or should he have...
Who? Eddie?
Eddie, should he have brought a sub on? Should he have done it earlier?
We should have gone for the juggler and killed him off. I don't like...
Doing what?
By bringing on either... Well, Isak, yes, could have come off for Wilson, cool. But at the same time, I still reckon Gordon should have remained on the pitch. I still would have probably, brought on Barnes, got rid of Almirón. Sorry, but he wasn't bringing anything to the table. And Longstaff, unless Joe Linton was injured, Joe Linton was par on par for me, anyway, man of the match. What a performance. Winning everything in the centre of the park. Again, we should have just gone for it and killed off the game. This is why, sorry to cut you again, but this is the reason why Klopp is a top quality manager. As much as we want to get at him and he wants to get at us, he made the right substitutions, we made the wrong ones, and then they came away with 3 points.
Just for the record, Anderson came on for Joe Linton, Longstaff came on for Tonali, which again, just 6 and 2, 3 and a half a dozen.
Yeah,
I thought Tonali was having a good game as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree.
Another one as well. Tonali, again, unless he was injured, why take him off? Fantastic game. He's running the show. Him and Bruno. For me, Bruno didn't have his best of games, not up to Bruno's standards. Like, we know his standards as well.
I think Bruno's performance was better than last week, though.
Better than last week, but again, it wasn't like amazing. He wasn't running the show, was he?
There's still levels
Exactly,
to go,
of course. And we know Bruno can run the show. The thing is, like I said before, Klopp showed why he's a Premier League winner, a Champions League winner, and again, we've still got a long way to go.
Yeah, I think that will be the discussion, Lee. Will be the discussion, the substitutions, and you hope the press do ask Eddie Howe those sort of questions. Why did you bring off Tonali for Longstaff? Why did you bring off Gordon, who was having an unbelievable game for Harvey Barnes? And he will have some big questions today, because essentially, I'm not saying those substitutions cost us the game, but did those substitutions need to be made at those moments?
It cost the flow of the game.
Yeah.
Because it was all one way, we just weren't killing the game off. I agree with 40. Miggy's finishing was awful. And it's mad to think that he got double figures last season. I'm not just picking on him, but...
Mickey hit the post and the crossbar today, by the way.
Well, it was saved on the crossbar, but you really should have put one of these 5 chances away. But none of them felt Isak. Not enough. You know, you're asking for that to be Wilson or an Isak so you finish it off, but it wasn't being. The longer it stayed 1-0, the more that Liverpool will grow in confidence as the time ticks on, because he brought on a centre-back, remember? Look at the size of them horses.
You know.
He brought on a centre-back, remember, because he wanted to stop the flow of the game, to stay in the game, and then he went for the juggler later. So he went for the juggler and thought, you know what, I can get a point out of this. He probably didn't expect to get 3 points, look, but he's probably thought, we'll get a point out of this, and Núñez comes on, it's a mistake, bang, equaliser.
Yeah, that was a big moment for, you know, it's drifting towards the 80th minute, 81st minute, 10 minutes to go, and it's a case of just game management. I thought today there was a lot of immaturity in our performance, which has not been like Newcastle United in the last couple of years, but we showed a little bit of immaturity, and I felt that we allowed Liverpool to get back into the game rather than Newcastle actually kill it. Yeah, literally the bill just walking past. But yeah, Darwin Núñez from a Botman error in the box, very similar to the way he scored against Newcastle last season.
Two carbon copy goals. Really,
yeah, it really was. But just on that first goal in particular, deflating moment, and you kind of knew from then that moment on the best that Newcastle were going to get as a point. I just didn't think we were going to get back into it.
Even then, when it's 1-1, come on, like at least shut up shop or do something. Like,
were we chasing the game?
Look, at that moment in time, I'm actually thinking about coming on here thinking we've dropped 2 points. But again, to allow them to do the same thing again, like, come on, you not learn from your previous mistake? what, 5 minutes later, 10 minutes later?
It's slightly different because of how it was. It
Johnny,
was
man,
no,
come on,
40.
man.
No, because
listen, everyone knows when they come here or go up against us, they always target the same side, that left-hand side.
it wasn't the left-hand side for the second goal though.
Where was it then?
It was Bruno's error. He's trying to make a pass, which was a bit. It was.
But where was Núñez?
No.
Where was Núñez?
Yeah, in terms of where the position was.
That's what I'm saying.
But if Bruno doesn't make that mistake there, 40, then Núñez isn't getting that pass through to score the goal.
Still down that same side. What I'm trying to say is that everyone tries to target down that side.
You're missing the point. You're missing the point. If Bruno doesn't make that error in that midfield, we're not in that position. If Bruno just makes the simple pass, he had Share, he had Nick Pope. No, but I'm saying, your area is absolutely fine.
Of course,
but you're going back. You need to go back to where the actual fault of the goal laid on.
And then it went to that left-hand side, the same left-hand side that I keep talking about. Yes, everyone knows that to target down that side. Núñez was thrown on down that side. He wasn't thrown down Trippier's side because he's not going to get any joy. He's thrown down that side. It just happened to fall to him. Bruno messed up. Again, didn't have the best of games today, not to Bruno levels. And then Núñez scored. That's what I'm saying. Klopp made his substitutions right, put Núñez in the right areas, and he capitalised. And then this is where, again, we're just not there yet in terms of high quality calibre, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, no, I get
tacticians, all the rest of it. So
I get what you mean.
And you know what? The other thing as well, it's worrying as well that we're doing this now, even before Champions League games. Because when it gets to Champions League games, this is where we're going to get killed off.
This is what I said to you. Remember pre-season? What was happening pre-season?
Oh no, we were making errors. But the thing is, I think
have we learned? Aston Villa, Diaby goal unmarked. Mm-hmm. Manchester City, unmarked again. But it's a great strike. Today was more that Howie. You've got to look at it and think. There's two mistakes you shouldn't be doing on a pitch.
That second goal, which we'll talk about in a bit more detail now, obviously me and Foley have got obviously slightly different ways of looking at that goal. So how did you see? Do you put more blame on? Well, the blame's on Bruno. I think me and Foley can agree on that. The blame is on Bruno. If he doesn't make that error, we can talk about obviously how weak we are on one side to the other. I think that's pretty obvious anyway. But 93rd minute. A bit of common sense. And
you remember you've got Botman off the pitch, haven't you? Yeah,
obviously he's gone off injured. He obviously walked off, which obviously makes it a little bit easier to contend with in the sense that he might be all right in the future games. But Lee, in that second goal, we talked about Bruno's been the main topic of the conversation this week for all sorts of reasons, which we don't need to get into. But what I will say is that is it a case of game management? And when you've got the best player, one of the best players, some would argue the best player for Newcastle right now, doing little moments like that, is that worrying from your point of view?
And we were great at game management last season. We were great. 1-0, 2-0, 2-1s, slowing the game down. I know that's a little bit more harder with the rules because you can't do that as much. But even if you can't get that second goal, go sideways. Pass it. It's against 10 men. It's not 11 against 11.
You would have thought it was the other way around. You would have thought we had the 10 men the way that we was playing, nervous.
Side to side, that's all you've got to do. Make them chase, tie them out. And we've literally self-destructed again. And look, it is Bruno, but I'm not pointing the finger at Bruno because he's had enough shit on social media.
But the thing is,
the left side, yes, it's a little bit disorganised, probably because Matty Target's only been on literally 2-3 minutes, and then Burns been moved to centre back. But it's the mistakes, yes, but what also frustrates me, we didn't kill this game on to get the second goal, and also the substitutions. Eddie Howe has to take blame today.
Yeah, we'll touch on that in a second. But look, that was pretty much the last kind of general action in terms of Newcastle point of view. They had a free kick, which Nick Pope, I think, got the last touch on me for a goal kick, and that was all she wrote really in terms of Newcastle versus Liverpool this afternoon. Look, Eddie Howe doesn't get many decisions wrong, and there will be talking points in regards to his press conference today, and this is the best bit of his press conference this afternoon.
I thought we played really well today. The opening stages of the game can't be forgotten by me in regards to the team's performance and reflection on how the game went. I thought we were excellent. Individual performances were very strong, and the sending off almost harms us really in the match. Although the chances were there for us to kill the game, as you say, and I think the second goal changes everything. We didn't get it, and then when Núñez comes on, they're looking for one moment, and they didn't just get one, they got two, and they took them.
And we are back. 40, Manchester City and Liverpool, look, we know how good they are. Obviously Manchester City are a different level to Liverpool in my personal opinion. I think we can all agree on that. Is it a reality check, last two games?
Very much so. we know we're not close to win the Premier League, so I can take the Man City loss now. I still think we should have gone at them a little bit more. But today, I'll say it one more time, said it on the instant reaction, that we'll never get a better time to beat Liverpool than today. Like I said before, they were down to 10 men for the majority of the game. We was at them, which needs to be more clinical. And again, it just shows that we're not there yet. We're not there yet. We're a Champions League club based on what we did last season. But this season, yeah, it's a reality check. And we've got a long way to go in terms of maybe we might need to get another body through the door to shore up shop or something like that, because we're getting found out here at our fortress. Remember last season, how many times did we get beat here last season?
Just twice.
Just twice. And again, we've already been beaten once. Again, it's against Liverpool's team. Against Liverpool, sorry. But at the same time, we need to make sure that we come with a different game plan, because this is not the one. I don't want to be feeling like this too many times this season.
No, certainly not.
Let's say we played Man City. Pep Guardiola doesn't lose that game.
100%. I think that was.
Or at least coming away with a point.
Yeah, a worst case scenario. I think that is the question. The question will be to Eddie Howe, and he hasn't had many questions thrown at him, Lee. You know, it has been a case of in Eddie Howe we trust, and I think the Newcastle fans still trust him. I think it's one game where it hasn't gone according to plan.
Listen,
just 2 seconds, buddy.
I was going to say, before people jump on me in the comment section, I've got to defend myself. It's still Eddie Howe in, by the way. Yeah. I still have love for him. It's just today.
That's not going to clip that bit.
No, that's not where I'm going. I've got
to defend myself. Don't worry about you.
The question marks will be, and the questions that will be thrown at Eddie Howe is, why were those substitutions made at them particular moments, and what should he have done differently? I think that's the big question. Well, does he just leave it as the same for as long as physically possible? Because we shouldn't be that tired. We've had a week off, or just over a week off, and also as well, Lee, Tonali looked absolutely shattered. Gordon had an unbelievable game, and I can understand to a degree for taking him off. But when he's playing that well, what I mean is that when he's playing that well, can you not get an extra 10-15 minutes out of him?
You've got to keep him on. I know he hasn't had a break. Never Tonali, because they're both playing the Euros under 21s, but two of your best players there, and you know, if things been different, you never know, but I would like to think so. But you know, Eddie Howe needs to be questioned today, and I agree with Fordy, not overall, because some people are too scared also to criticise Eddie Howe. Yeah. We've got to come out and say when we get beat, it was Eddie Howe's fault today. It was Eddie Howe's fault. You can't tell me, people in the comments will say it's not, because we're 1-0 up against 10 man. We've lost the game. Who's the finger needs pointed at? Unfortunately, that is the manager. However, long term, we're in a hell of a position. We know all of that, but this is today. This is now, and today it wasn't good enough.
We win as a team, we draw as a team, we lose as a team. I get that, Lee. There might be a few people who will say in the comments, well,
we overreacting.
Not necessarily overreacting, but well, maybe it is overreacting, because it's a defensive. Just wait there, Fordy. Wait there. It's a defensive mistake and a mistake in the middle of midfield. That's not really an Eddie Howe fault, really, is it?
Yeah, but she'll get the second goal, though. Keep the substitutions on. He's got to look at that.
That's more of a fault, not the actual goals itself.
But didn't I say we could be sitting mid-table come Champions League games? I said that because of the start. Because we've got Brighton, and our Brighton got wallops the other day at West Ham, but that's a tough place to go. Yeah. We could lose that one. You never know. And then the pressure really kicks on. You've got social media, which cranks. You've seen it with Bruno last week. Social media will crank them. I'm staying off Twitter than it. I'm not getting on Twitter because it's just going to be all toxic. There's a way to criticise, and I think the way we've done it today is fair.
It's been a poor week, Fordy. It's been a poor week for all sorts of reasons. Is this Brighton game actually quite important? Because if you look at it, if we get 3 points, worst case scenario, from our first 4 games, that is under par, even though the 4 teams that we've played against were all in the top 7 last season. Yeah. We've got to go with Brighton and show a reaction.
Of course we have to make sure that we get back to winning ways quickly. I was just going to touch upon what Lee was saying as well. Prevention is better than reaction. So again, the reasons why we're criticising Eddie Howe's substitutions is because he should have made them before they equalised, before they got their second goal. So that's what I was just going to add to that point. But yeah, the Brighton game couldn't come fast enough for me. We need to get back to winning ways. Again, Brighton are in a similar situation to us, going into Europe for the first time in a long while. So yeah, we need to make sure that we batter them and just put everything to it. But again, we need to make sure that we're playing players based on merit and not just their overall what they can do. So if Bruno's having a stinker, haul him off. If Gordon's having a game of his life, put him on. Like, I don't want to I don't want players just to be playing just based on reputation. If Isak's not playing up to stand in the last 2 games, swap him out for Wilson. This is where Eddie needs to be ruthless.
Is this not overreacting though?
No, it's not at all. We're in a situation now where we need to make sure that we're clinical and take advantage of the situation we're in. Otherwise, we'll be waiting another 20 years before we get back into it. And that is not being overreactive. That is taking full advantage of the situation we're in now. We had a fantastic season last season. Let's make sure that we make the most of it this season. Otherwise, like I said before, we're waiting a long time before we're in this situation before. We've invested a lot of money to this point. So again, the expectation level is risen, whether you like it or not. We're all expecting to come here, get a point, get 3 points when we come here. Yeah. So now we need to make sure that we get that every single time.
Just one last thing as well is that because of the UEFA's coefficient, we could actually have a worse season and still qualify for the Champions League.
It's going to be the top 5, and it's actually interesting to talk about Champions League. Last couple of things I want to really finish off. I would mention the table, but it's literally 3 games in. I think we're somewhere in the bottom half. I think we're like 13th in the minute, so it's still very early on in the season. Just a couple of little, last little things. Champions League draw Thursday. You know, this has been the date in the diary since that game against Leicester in May, where we drew 0-0 and we got the point to make sure that Liverpool can't catch us in terms of the top 4. It's going to be a big moment for the club, because we're going to know who we're going to be facing in Europe, and it's a big moment for the football club. You take away the fact
we know where we're going.
Yeah, we know where we're going. We know where we're going. We know who we're going to be facing. Look, it's going to be an
They got a Green King in Madrid, have they?
Oh, they've got loads, mate.
What's green for Spanish? Let us know in the comments.
I know, something like that. But in all seriousness, Lee, a big moment for the football club. Any preference? We can kind of talk about it a bit more now.
I want the group of death. Give me it. From a fan perspective, because we'll travel, we'll probably spend 2 nights out there. You know, but also on the flip side, other clubs don't want us from Pot D. They'll look at Pot D and think, ooh, don't want Newcastle, but they'll have everybody else because that's the weakest pot. But yeah, I want the group of death. I want the Wall, the Dortmund. I want to say War Flags versus the Wall. I'd love to say that. I want to see a trip to Milan and Real Madrid. That's the 3 clubs I would love for the group of death. I don't want to go to Rangers, and I keep seeing it. If we can't,
it's up the road, though, isn't it? You've been there already, so you've been there, done that.
It's a 2-hour drive. I don't want to drive to Champions League game.
You want a flight, you want the hotel, you want the whole experience.
Happened to Villa, didn't it? Villa got Hibs.
Experience of Amsterdam and everything.
There you go. Yeah. Oh, right. I know what you're talking about. Anyways, just keep it PG, eh?
Yeah. Just finally, 40 transfer deadline down Friday, day after the Champions League draw. Yeah. Eddie Howe's basically said Newcastle won't do anything unless
Don't believe him.
Just certain things change. Javier Manquillo has been told that he can leave Newcastle. Besiktas have got interest in Jamal Lascelles, who was on the bench for Newcastle today.
Yeah.
You say you don't believe Eddie Howe, but not necessarily believe Eddie Howe in terms of maybe not bringing anything in, but who would you like to bring in, or what type of position do you think we need to bring in?
We need a centre-half. I'm sorry, we need a centre-half because, look, one injury to... Thanks, mate. Just one little one injury to Botman, like obviously today, and then that's what we're done for, aren't we? Because again, like that formidable centre-half pairing of Cher and Botman is just one slip away from just being diminished. And I don't think we've got the quality as backup there to get us through Premier League games and Champions League games. So definitely need a centre-half in. I wouldn't mind a striker, but I know that's dreaming. I think we've had an 8 out of 10 window so far, but again, a centre-half for me is crucial because to get through games like this today and Champions League games, we definitely need another centre-half of the level of a Botman.
Would you like to bring anybody in before Friday, finally?
I would like to, but I think we're done. I think that's it. I think there'll be a couple of departures, like we've seen Fraser, he had a good debut actually. You might see a couple of departures, squad players, Manquillo potentially. I know Eddie Howe said that he'd like to keep him, but I think that's been polite. Hopefully get rid of Hayden, Hendrick, get them out on loan or something. I think we're done.
Will be interesting to see what happens. It's a big week for so many different reasons. Champions League draw on Thursday, we'll be doing a live stream for that. Friday's deadline day, we'll have reaction to that, and then on Saturday, Lee will be making the trip along with Harry to the Amex to the Brighton versus Newcastle United. It was a big week last week. It's going to be an even bigger week this week, because that's just Newcastle United in a nutshell. We will get a normal week of Newcastle United, believe me, it will happen one day. Get your comments in for this game. What would you do in terms of any changes? Do you agree with 40? Do you disagree with Lee? Do you think I'm rubbish and useless? Tell me if I'm right or wrong.
It's not that bad. You're not that bad, are you?
No. You just sit on the fence, that's all.
I know. That's why I'm in the middle today. Like and subscribe to Newcastle Fans TV, and we'll see you all next time.